Class 182 on the Golden Doves, we're on page 104. We were dealing with the opinion of Shemuel. And he says, because Shemuel says that Megillat Esther ena mitame'a et hayadayim. Then the Gemara says, well, if ena mitame'a et hayadayim, should we say that according to Shemuel, Megillat Esther was not given Biruach HaKodesh? And he says, no, it was given Biruach HaKodesh, but it was given ne'emra likrot velo ne'emra lehikatev, right? And we were dealing, what does it mean, ne'emra likrot velo ne'emra lehikatev, right? What does that mean? So people say that according to this, Shemuel, the intention of Shemuel was to say that Megillat Esther is not allowed to be written down. It must be recited orally. But we saw that this explanation, see the previous class, while this explanation of Shemuel is not tenable. So we're left with the question, what did Shemuel mean when he said Ne'emar likrot velo ne'emar likatev? Because Ne'emar likrot velo ne'emar likatev, it's ena mitame'a et hayadayim. What does that mean? Okay. The issue of whether the scroll of Esther was consigned for writing or only for reading pertains to the status of the scroll. It has to do with the legal status of Megillat Esther. Shemuel maintained that it was not consigned for writing, lo nitena or lo ne'imra lehikatev. Therefore, although it must be read, you have to read it from a physical writing. The scroll does not have the status of a written document. That's the point. The legal status of a written document. A written document of one of the books of the Tanakh is Mitame'at Hayadayim. This doesn't have that status. His view is particularly significant in light of the fact that Philo and the Dead Sea sects did not include this book in the scriptures. That's why they didn't include it in the obviously. Shemuel's position may be a compromise between the normative view, which says to include Megillat Esther in the canon, and the sectarians and the Hellenistic Jews who discarded altogether the practice of reading it. They were against reading Megillat Esther. So he's trying to, maybe form kind of a compromise view. Shemuel's view was accepted by Levi ben Shemuel and Lavuna ben Hiyah, who did not believe that it was necessary to use a handkerchief to handle the Megillat Esther. So again, everybody agrees you have to physically write down the Megillah. Everybody agrees you have to read it, because Nitena likrot or Ne'emra likrot. The question is, what is the status of the scroll? And we see many said, over and above the laws of purity and ritual, the question of whether the scroll of Esther was consigned for writing bears on whether or not it could be the subject of canonical exegesis. That's another nafka mina halacha lema'aseh. Can you make derashot on Megillat Esther? This is the most significant issue involving the concept of writing. Writing involves three intimately connected points. In Jewish thinking, a written text, there's three things about a written text. Number one, whether the text was consigned for writing. Right? I don't know if it was just physically written. Was it consigned so that when you write it, does it attain the status of a written text? The ritual status of the canon scroll. And now we have the question, is it mitameh or mitame'at hayadayim or not mitame'ah? And the canonical and the canonicity of exegesis. What about derashot? These points are neatly connected in the following passage from the Talmud Yerushalmi. And here's the passage in Talmud Yerushalmi. Let's go to footnote 21. Where is this passage? So we will find that soon. Masechet Megillah, Perek Aleph. Okay. From this it is evident that the scroll of Esther was consigned, Nitena lehidaresh. Interesting. Nitena lehidaresh. So here we see the connection between Nitena lehikatev and Nitena lehidaresh. Rabbi Halabo, Rabbi Yesa, in the name of Rabbi El Azar. About this it was said, words of peace and truth. Divrei Shalom ve'emet. A pasuk in Megillat Esther, right? Elsewhere, concerning the Torah, it was said, acquire truth and do not sell it in Mishle. Emet keneh Ve'al timkor. So you see the derasha talking about the Torah. It says emet. That's the Torah. So divrei shalom ve'emet. You see, so Megillat Esther is considered according to this part of the Torah. This means that it is like the very truth of the Torah. Megillat Esther is like has the status of the Torah. Emet, right? That's the point. Just as one, the scroll of the Torah requires lions, also the other, the scroll of Esther requires lions. Shirtut. Just as one, the Torah was consigned to be expounded, also the other, the scroll of Esther was consigned to be expounded, so again, because it attained the status of a writing, not according to Shemuel, right? So there's shirtut, there's derasha, and the derasha has authority. Rabbi Yirmiyah said in the name of Rabbi Shemuel ben Yishak, also the scroll that Shemuel committed to David, right? So when David was anointed by Shemuel in Bethlehem, and then there was that night that they studied Torah, and then he delivered to him some of the laws of the Melucha. So the Gemara here says that he gave him a Megillah, right? It's based on the pasuk in Divrei Hayamim. Let's look at the pasuk in Divrei Hayamim. It's worth it. Although I'm going to be interrupting for a moment. Let me get the Divrei Hayamim. And I am magically back. I'm sorry that I don't have the technology to make a commercial interruption. But anyway, let's see what the pasuk says in Divrei Hayamim. Divrei Hayamim Aleph. Okay. Perek Kafhet. All right, so here it is. Tanakh. Divrei Hayamim Aleph. Perek. Okay, that didn't work. I'm sorry. Here we go again. No, wrong Divrei Hayamim. That's Divrei Hayamim Bet. Technology is only as good as the person who uses it. Okay, and I'm obviously not very good at this. Okay, finally, Perek Kaf Hayat. That didn't take long at all. Pasuk Yotet. All right, here we go. Pasuk Yotet. All right, so Vayiten David. The pasuk Yod Aleph says, "Vayiten David lishlomo beno et tamnit ha'ulam." So David HaMelech transmitted to Shlomo HaMelech what David HaMelech received from Shemuel HaNavi, tamnit ha'ulam, bet batav, and so on. Okay, and then it says, I'm going to read it with the Tamim. Hakol bichtav miyad Adonai alai hiskil kol malachot hatavnit. Okay. And when David HaMelech gave him these instructions, apparently he had a scroll, bichtav, right? And he says that I received this all through the wisdom that God gave me, and this was through the instruction of Shemuel HaNavi, or Shemuel HaRo'eh, right? Let's look at Pasuk Yod Bet. I think the previous pasuk go backwards to Pasuk Yod Bet. ותבנית כל אשר היה ברוח עמו לחסרות בית אדוני ולכל הלשכות סביב לאוסרות בית האלוהים ולאוסרות הקודשים. So here it says it was Ruach Hashem, meaning he had Ruach HaKodesh. The Radak says it's either his Ruach HaKodesh or through Shemuel. The Gemara, in the Yerushalmi, says it was through Shemuel. So it says that scroll, and it says he got it through Ruach HaKodesh, but it was through Shemuel. Also the scroll, now back to the text, that Shemuel committed to David, was consigned to be expanded. Interesting. It wasn't canonized, it wasn't part of the Arba V'Esrim, but it had the status of a writing, and therefore was Nitena Lehidaresh. What is the proof? All in writing, Hakol Bichtav. That's why it's Hakol Bichtav. This is the written text. Very interesting. From the hand of the Lord. This is the Holy Spirit. So it's written, has a legal status of a writing, and it's Beruach HaKodesh, to be understood, I apologize. I think I lost a place here. Right? Hakol bichtav miyad Adonai alai hiskil, to be understood. This is evidence that it was consigned to be expounded. Nitena lehidaresh. So you see the various dimensions of a written text. Ruach HaKodesh, Nitena lehidaresh, likatev, it's bichtav. Right? Okay, that's ended the Gemara, the Yerushalmi. Before examining, okay, we'll stop here.